Welcome back, everybody, to the New York Knicks, my NBA franchise here on NBA 2K23. We are now past the trade deadline. We have made it to the NBA All-Star break, and we're going to get through the end of February and the early portion of March. So last episode, of course, we had the trade deadline, and it was a spectacle. I don't think we've ever had a crazier trade deadline in NBA history. So many big-time stars on the move. Some of the highlights included Desmond Bane going to the Jazz, Jordan Poole to the Nets, Trae Young going to the Chicago Bulls, a three-team deal sending Devin Booker to the Pistons and Kevin Durant to the Wizards, and obviously the biggest ones involving the Philadelphia 76ers acquiring Luka Doncic from the Mavericks and Jaylen Brown from the Clippers. Our Knicks made one deal. We traded a couple of younger guys and a future second for Damian Lillard, while our friends out west, the Timberwolves, added Markelle Fultz from the Orlando Magic. I think both teams are in a pretty good spot here going into the All-Star break. Obviously, the Knicks are the #1 seed. We have lost 3 in a row, largely because of the injury to Jarrett Allen, exposing our one major weakness of front court depth. As for the Timberwolves, Minnesota is still currently in 5th place with the addition of Fultz, who I think can be a nice piece to complement Apollo Thanopoulos and Coco Diablo going forward. We're going to start off by briefly going over the All-Star break here real quick and highlighting our guys who are in the festivities. The Knicks have 2 All-Stars, Anthony Edwards making his 4th appearance. All of these All-Star numbers are up by 1. I don't know why, but Edwards is in his 4th appearance, and Jason Tatum is in his 7th, both of whom are playing for Team LaMelo. Apollo Thanopoulos and Coco Diablo are not All-Stars, despite the fact that they obviously should be, but I guess the NBA has some vendetta against Minnesota. We'll start with the Rising Stars Challenge on All-Star Friday night. Here's a look at Team USA's top first-year and second-year players on our teams. We do have one representative, and that is Knicks rookie Buddy Johnson, who has shown some good flashes this year, mainly as a bench piece, so he'll be playing for Team USA. And then on Team World from the Timberwolves, we've got Skylar Fields, and then, of course, Apollo Thanopoulos. So we'll see if Minnesota's side on Team World can get the win, or if the Knicks with Team USA can get the win. I think Team USA certainly has more talent than Team World, which is a little bit of a surprise because there have been a ton of good foreign young players to enter the league over recent years, so I would have thought that Team World would have been quite a bit better. However, Team World, as you can see on the left, is doing really well, and they will win 100-80. Kayvon Patterson with 15 points leading the way for Team USA. Buddy Johnson was one of 3 players in the double figures. He had 10, but the offense played terribly. You'd think in an all-star type of game, they wouldn't shoot that bad. As for Team World, Apollo Thanopoulos and Skylar Fields both did their things, helping their team get the win. That'll bring us into All-Star Saturday night. Here's a look at the three-point contest with Benedict Mathurin, Jalen Green, LaMelo Ball, Trae Young, Franz Wagner, and Darius Garland, and the dunk contest with Jalen Witherspoon, Bryson Potts, Aleem Strong, and Hubert Rumford. So Cade Cunningham wins the three-point contest. He wasn't even in it, but he replaced Franz Wagner at the last minute, and then Jalen Witherspoon ended up winning the dunk contest. So that'll bring us into the All-Star game itself. Here's a look at Team LaMelo with Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards on the squad. There are a couple Western Conference players who are banged up. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Team LaMelo. And then on Team Ja, Joel Embiid is dinged up. So I'm kind of hoping that one of our Timberwolves guys can maybe get that spot as a late addition to the game. But I'm not counting on it since neither Coco or Apollo were top 10 in their positional voting. So the Western Conference is Team Ja, the Eastern Conference is Team LaMelo. We've got ourselves a really close game, 84-84. We're going to hop in here going into the final quarter, where it's the first one to 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant. Apollo Thanopoulos, by the way, is playing for Team Ja, so he did end up being the injury replacement for Joel Embiid, which is pretty cool, and the rookie ends up being the first rookie All-Star since Blake Griffin, which is a pretty cool honor. So it's the first one to 108. Game, of course, tied. Here's Jason Tatum. Step back 3 is good. Tatum back with it again. He's going to send it over to the big fella, Evan Mobley, who misses the layup, grabs his own rebound, and gets the putback dunk. We'll be playing for Team LaMelo, as you can see, which the scoreboard abbreviates out to Team Lame, which is kind of funny. Jason Tatum knocks down the triple. Team LaMelo off to a great start here in the final quarter. They're already up by 8. LaMelo tips it away, but Paolo gets it back in the corner for Darius Garland, who knocks down the triple. Team Ja on the board here in the final quarter as it's 87-92. Kevin Durant, the new Wizard, step back, deep 3 is good. These are the types of plays you should see in the All-Star game. Super wild shots as Ja sends it out to Paolo Banchero, who knocks down a three of his own. Team Ja trying to stay in it as they trail by 5. Garland guarded by LaMelo. 2 talented young guards in the East. Gets it over to the Joker, Nikola Jokic, who throws it down on the slam. 3-point game now. Team Ja back in it. Ja Morant inside. Back to Jokic. He looked like he wanted to dunk it on Mobley, but Jokic, being the humble guy that he is going to go for the layup instead. 94-97. Screen from Jokic. Morant over to a wide-open Darius Garland to tie the game. This little two-man game with Jokic and Morant is really keeping Team Ja in it. Knotted up at 97. Ja has a wide-open Paolo Banchero for the dunk, and Team Ja now has the lead. How will Team LaMelo respond? They've been struggling over these last few minutes. LaMelo gets it over to Jason Tatum with another 3. Tatum has been big here down the stretch for his squad, and Team LaMelo's back ahead by 1. They just need 9 more points to win as Team Ja is right back ahead. Nikola Jokic makes the bucket. Now they lead by 2. Here comes Paolo, guarded by Anthony Edwards. A few of the bench players for both squads have checked into the game, including Chet Holmgren, who catches the lob from Paolo. 4-point game now. Team Ja in the driver's seat. Edwards sends it in the corner for Jalen Green, who knocks down the 3. Big shot for Green. He's guarding up on Trae Young as Young misses the shot. That might be the first time I've ever seen Jalen Green with a good defensive possession in my entire life. Green's going to bring it on the other end of the floor to Edwards in the corner. Bang! Team Ja only needs 2 more points to win it. Can they get a big stop here on this possession? Cade inside for Trae Young. He quickly makes the layup to tie the game. So now it's pretty much first score wins. How cool is this here in the All-Star game? Edwards gets it over to Scotty Barnes. Tight defense from Team Ja. Edwards for the win. No good. And now Team Ja is in the driver's seat, and they can win the game. Chet Holmgren over to Giannis. He fools Jalen Green. Back inside for Holmgren for the win. No good. Nice deflection from Scotty Barnes. Team LaMelo will now have an opportunity. Tatum drives inside. He sends it in the corner for Anthony Edwards. Edwards looking to be the hero, but he has it stripped away and stolen by Holmgren. Team Ja gets another opportunity. Holmgren over to Paolo Banchero for the win. He makes the layup. And with that, Team Ja defeats Team LaMelo in an all-time All-Star game, 108-106, with a game winner from Paolo Banchero. Adam Silver will give Paolo the All-Star Game MVP trophy, being cheered on by his teammates, including himself. Look at the left side of the screen. Why is Paolo cheering for himself? LaMelo Ball led his team with 16. Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards also in the double figures with 15 and 12, respectively. As for Team Ja, it was Banchero with 14 points, the leading scorer for them. Apollo only played 8 minutes. He had 2 and 3. Didn't do a whole lot. Both offenses were pretty bad, which is weird for an all-star game, but I guess the players are trying to play defense now. I don't know. So we're getting pretty close to the end of the season now that we've made it through the break. We're going to simulate up to the Minnesota game today, and as you can see, we've got a really tough schedule here at the end of the year. The Jazz, the Sonics, the Sixers twice, the Rockets twice, the Bulls 3 times, the Pistons, the Wizards, the Timberwolves. So we're going to simulate up to this game against Philly. I want to get a look at the new look Philadelphia 76ers, as Jared Allen would come back during that stretch of games. Before we take a look at how we performed, we're going to check in on Minnesota out west. The Timberwolves will come back from the All-Star break facing off against the Spurs here on the road. 2-point lead for the T-Wolves as the Spurs tie it with a nice layup from Davion Mitchell. 111-111. Here's Coco Diablo inside. Pump fake twice over to the big fella, Apollo Thanopoulos, the all-star big man who's got 24 and 7. Tied at 113. Here's Nikolai Sevchenko for the lead. It is good. The former high draft pick for the Spurs makes the plays. They're now up by 4. Fultz backing down on Davion Mitchell. Mitchell's a really good defender, but Fultz takes advantage of the size mismatch with Mitchell only being 6'1", cutting the lead to 2. Diablo with it. Thinks about the 3. Won't take it. Looks to drive inside, and that's going to be a charge. A huge foul against Coco Diablo, and the Spurs will look to take advantage up by 2 with a minute to go. Ingram, step back, hits the jumper, and the Spurs are ahead by 4. Following Minnesota possession, Diablo, step back, 3 ball, got it. Big shot for Coco Diablo, and we are within 1. Ingram with it, sends it in the corner for Dario Saric. Fadeaway three is good! Super Dario puts the Spurs ahead by 4. Both teams trade off threes, and now Minnesota's got to answer again as the big fella, Thanopoulos, throws it down. The Spurs will make a pair of 3 throws. They're back up by 4. Not a lot of time left as Diablo's jumper is no good. Apollo with the rebound out in the corner for Griffin for 3. Hits it! The Timberwolves are going to stay alive a little bit longer. Huge 3 from A.J. Griffin. Now it's time to play the foul game as Coco will foul Davion Mitchell. First 3 throw is good. That'll make it a 2-point game. Minnesota still at the timeout and 9.4 seconds to go as he goes 2 for 2 at the line. I don't think 9.4 seconds is enough to go for a quick shot, then potentially another foul, and then get it back. So because of that, I think Minnesota's just got to go for the 3 on this possession, try to tie it up. If you get a good look before the clock sounds, you should take it. But obviously you don't want the Spurs to get the ball if they don't have to. It's in the hands of Diablo. Screen from Feinstein. Diablo over to Jaden McDaniels for the tie. No good! And the Spurs take this one home. 126-123. Jaden McDaniels misses the potential game-tying shot. Thanopoulos and Diablo both played very well. 26 and 10 for Apollo. 18, 11, and 7 for Coco. Both guys shot the ball quite well, particularly Apollo. A.J. Griffin with 17. Fultz with 15 and 8. Seems like a lot of the guys played well, but not well enough to beat one of the worser teams in the Western Conference. Minnesota's next game is in Sacramento against the Kings, another disappointing team out west. The Kings were pretty good a couple seasons ago, but they haven't really been able to replicate that success, largely with the loss of De'Aaron Fox this past offseason. Big 3 for the big man, Walker Kessler, and that'll cut the lead to 2. Minnesota looking to make a play as Diablo sends it inside for the big fella, Apollo Thanopoulos, the Greek freak with the and 1. Mike Brown clearly upset with the call or his team's defense. Here's Osvaldo Ledo. What in the hell? He just heaved it up 10 feet beyond the line, fade away with 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Okay, plays like that are not going to help your team win. McDaniels no good. Thanopoulos with the offensive rebound. He gets the putback. And the Timberwolves lead by 6. They would ultimately win this game 130-123. Good rebound win on the road against a not-so-good team, but it is nice to win. You certainly don't want to take too many games early here in the second half of the season, or else that could lead to a potential dip in the standings. Pretty good performance all around. Fultz led the way with 25 and 6 on, again, really good shooting. 5 of 6 from 3. Griffin with 23, Thanopoulos 20, 14, and 6. Diablo doing a little bit of everything with 15, 7, and 6, albeit on inefficient shooting. Overall, a pretty good win here for Minnesota. I would simulate their next 2 games leading up to the matchup with the Knicks, and they would win both of them against the Hornets and the Warriors. So the Timberwolves are now 40 and 25 with 17 games left to go. So far, so good with the new big 3 of Coco, Apollo, and Markelle Fultz. Minnesota is still in 5th place in the West, where they've been all season, but they're actually climbing up a little bit. As you can see here in the standings, they're a comfortable 6.5 games ahead of 6th place, so realistically, they're not going to get much lower than 5th. And then they're only a game and a half back of 3rd. They're only 1 back of OKC and 1.5 back of Utah. So Minnesota very well could climb up to 4th or 3rd, which I think there's a big difference of that in this year's playoff. I would really rather not play against a team like OKC or Utah in the first round. Speaking of Utah, they're the only team to have beaten the Knicks since the All-Star break. We did beat the Sonics by a lot, which is a big win on the road against probably the best team in the Western Conference right now. Although this big win was overshadowed by a devastating injury. Ochai Agbaji suffered a spinal injury late in the game, and he will be out for the rest of the season. Och is a very solid and reliable role player. He can shoot the ball, play pretty good defense. It's going to suck not having him on the bench. I think he could have given us good playoff minutes. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He only signed a 1-year deal, so him suffering a potentially career-altering injury really sucks. He had a super scary injury last year, too, with the 76ers. So now we're only going to be able to run a 10-man rotation with no more Ochai Agbaji for the rest of the season. But luckily, the team is playing well since the break, going 4-1, bringing us into this matchup against the 76ers. When the Sixers traded for Luka and Jaylen Brown, they were in 8th place. Now they're in 4th. So far, they have been very good since the trade, and they're only half a game back of third. Luka has been phenomenal since the trade. Jaylen Brown's been really good too, and they've got a good core already with Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, Christian Wood, and Shaggy Lewis leading the way. It should be a pretty fun game here at the Garden, and certainly a potential playoff preview. The Knicks obviously look like major contenders in the Eastern Conference, and if the Sixers' hot start leads to anything, they could be a potentially high seed as well. These two teams very well could see each other in the second round or the conference finals if they were to make it that far. The Knicks win the tip, and we are underway. Here's the Sixers' opening possession. The rookie Colby Mead is no good, but he grabs his own rebound, and the first-round pick out of the University of Vermont gets the putback. The Vermont Catamount. 4-0. Jaylen Brown is snuffed at the rim by Jarrett Allen. The Knicks in transition have not scored in the opening 2+ minutes of the game, and they're finally on the board with a long 2 from Jason Tatum, who's been very solid himself since the break. 4-2 is now your score. Screen from Woody Balksheimer. Here's Luka. Pops for 3. He knocks it down as it's now 7-2. Philly off to a good start early in this game. Here's Jason Tatum with it. Step back. 3 for the All-Star. It's good. Nice bucket for Jason Tatum, who's been an All-Star in each of his first 2 seasons with the Knicks. Ramses gets it over to Anthony Edwards. Edwards over to Cesar DiCarlo. He'll knock down the 3, and now the Knicks offense is starting to come alive. They've scored 8 points in the last pretty much minute after not scoring in the first 2.5 minutes. The Sixers offense is keeping pace as Luka hits another 3. Woody Balksheimer sends it in the corner for Jaylen Brown, and he is fouled. Number 1 rule of defense, don't foul the jump shooter. Anthony Edwards makes that mistake. Brown would make 2 of 3 at the line, making it 14-8. Here's DJ Ramses off the screen, keeps it himself, hits the mid-ranger on the move, and it's now 14-10. Doncic's pass is tipped and stolen away. DJ Ramses ends up with it. DJ in the corner for DiCarlo. DiCarlo now thinks about the shot, doesn't take, over to Jason Tatum, who knocks down the 3. In the same amount of time that the Knicks started the game and didn't score, they've gotten 13 points since then with 3 triples. Woody Balksheimer answers right back for the 76ers as he gets the and-1. Jarrett Allen called for the foul. It's now 17-13. Edwards drives inside with the finish. A big slam for Ant-Man, and both offenses are really starting to cut into a groove here. Around 4 to go in the first. Here's Edwards again with the nice layup. At first it looked like he wanted to throw that thing down, but he'll take the layup instead. Big snuff inside. Edwards denies Luka Doncic. On the other end now, here's DJ Ramses inside for Tatum. Tatum with a nice fadeaway on Luka. He's got 10 at the Knicks' first 19 points. Now knotted up at 19 with a little over 3 to go in the quarter. Tatum back with it. Blows by Christian Wood in for the slam. Jason Tatum right now is on fire. Tatum on another level to start this one off for the Knicks, carrying them to the lead. But Spencer Dinwiddie will tie it for the 76ers. Dinwiddie, a part of that Luka Doncic trade sent in from Dallas, as Wood is blocked by Zachariah Royster. And then on the other end, Tatum hits another shot. Tatum with 14 points on phenomenal efficiency. I think he's only missed 1 shot so far. 21-23. There's Shaggy Lewis for the lead. Lewis was a very high draft pick of theirs a few years ago, the leading piece of the Joel Embiid trade package, which has obviously worked out quite well for the Sixers in hindsight. Reddish rips it away from Lewis. Inside for Tatum again. Jason Tatum cannot be stopped. He's got 16 here in the first. 26-26. Back in the hands of Tatum. Tatum thinks about the shot, sends it in the corner for a wide open killer Cam Reddish. Reddish took his time to shoot that thing as well. 26-29 now. Lob is successful for Woody Balksheimer, the big center, who's developed very nicely here in Philadelphia. 31-28. Lillard with it at the end of the quarter. Lillard over to Jason Tatum. Back to Lillard. Logo 3 is no good. And that'll wrap up the first quarter. It's a football score. The Giants lead the Eagles 31-28. This has been a very competitive game so far. Into the second. Ramses with the snuff on Jeremy Sohan. On the other end, Lillard, line 2 is good. And Dame Dalla is on the board, and he's pretty fired up too. 28-33. Here's Luka with it. Luka with the step back. His shot is good. And the Sixers make it a 1-score game. Now it's a 2-possession lead. Lillard loses it. Stolen away by Shaggy Lewis. Lewis sends it inside for Luka Doncic with the and one slam. Royster Moister is called with the foul, and Luka will head to the line with an opportunity to make it a 2-point game. Doncic's shot is no good. Offensive rebound is in the hands of Jeremy Sohan, and he hits the bucket. The native of Great Britain puts the Sixers within one, a 4-point play, but certainly not the traditional sense. Jaylen Brown for three, no good. Tipped and rebounded by the Sixers. Lewis hands it off for Wood, who misses, and the Knicks call a timeout. That seems kind of odd timing. I figured, is somebody hurt or something? As we look at the replay, look at Zachariah Royster. I think DJ Ramses might have hit him in the chest or something, obviously inadvertently. But Zachariah Royster has apparently an unknown rib issue, and he will need to go to the locker room. We saw when Jared Allen was injured, Royster's the only guy who can play center. So now that he's hurt, Jared Allen's the only guy who can play center. That's not good. Luka with the early dunk to put Dallas ahead, 36-35, in the hands of Allen. He's got the mismatch guarded by the rookie Mead, and he will take advantage as Jared Allen takes him to the woodshed. 36-37, Jaylen Brown with it. Screen from Wood. Brown looks to make a play back inside for Wood, who throws it down. The Sixers are attacking the paint ever since Royster got injured, which is kind of odd because Jared Allen's in the game, but it is working. Edwards no good. Allen with the offensive rebound. He gets the putback. Jared Allen continuing to be the janitor of this team, doing the dirty work. 38-39. Brown has it stripped away by Ramses. In transition, Ramses keeps it himself and throws it down. A powerful dunk for DJ Ramses as we look at the replay. Showing off some style. And the Knicks lead by 3. Luka guarded by DiCarlo inside. Doncic and one. Luka has been dominant here in the first half as we're now knotted up at 43. Jaylen Brown, nice pass inside for Luka Doncic. He gets the dunk, and the 76ers take the lead. Flex on him, Luka. 45-43. Ramses with it. He's trapped. That means somebody's going to be open. It's Khalif Dumbu for the lead. The lead would be short-lived, though. The Sixers are now up by 3. Zachariah Royster back in the game. Here's Doncic. Step back. 3-ball is good. Luka puts the Sixers ahead by 6. Their biggest lead of the night. Tatum now with it. In the corner for Buddy Johnson, the rookie out of Florida, who throws it down. Nice play by Buddy Johnson. And it is a 4-point Philadelphia lead. Shaggy Lewis off the pull-up is going to make the shot. And the Sixers are ahead by 6. 54-48 now. DiCarlo over to Reddish. Reddish sends it inside again. And Buddy Johnson throws it down once more. 54-50. Balksheimer over to Luka. Great ball movement finished off by the Shaggy Lewis layup. And the 76ers lead by 6. Philadelphia's offense continuing to make plays. Here's Cam Reddish. Sends it into the corner for Buddy Johnson. The rookie with some big shots here in the second quarter as it is a 3-point game, 58-55. Shaggy Lewis, no good. Rebounded by Woody. And he will get the putback. The Sixers lead by 5. Not a lot of time left here in the first half. It's in the hands of Damian Lillard. He knows a thing or two about making these late last-second shots. Lillard, step back through 3. No good. That'll wrap up the first half. A very competitive, exciting game so far. Both offenses look quite solid. The Knicks, as you can see, currently 2 games ahead of the Wizards for the number 1 seed in the East. Trail against the Sixers, 60-55. Luka Doncic is cooking right now. He's got 26 points in the first half. The Knicks have been unable to stop him so far as we go into the second half. Jaylen Brown off the screen for 3. Knocks it down. The Sixers have the momentum coming into the second half. We'll see if they can keep it going. Doncic brings it up the floor. Lobs it up for the big man, Woody Balksheimer. Obviously, all the attention right now is on Luka, and deservedly so. But Woody Balksheimer has been great today for the 76ers. Doncic makes a really tough shot over DiCarlo. The Sixers start this second half on a 7-0 run, and the Knicks are going to have to call a timeout. New York is now down by 12. This could get ugly. Nice pass by DiCarlo over to Anthony Edwards for the corner 3. Edwards with a very inefficient first half. The Knicks are really trying to get him going, but he hasn't been all that good today. Tatum inside for Ramses, who throws down the slam. 71-64 now. The Knicks trying to put themselves back in it. Mead sends it inside for Woody Balksheimer. He gets the and one. And the Philadelphia 76ers are back up by 9. Woody would miss the 3-throw in transition. Khalif Dumbu hits the jumper off the assist by Ant. again bringing the lead down to 7. The Knicks certainly still in the game, but the Sixers are continuing to add to their lead. Edwards catches the steal off the lob. Edwards takes it himself and throws it down. Good play by Anthony Edwards, who's looked a lot better early in the third quarter. If Ant can catch fire and Tatum can play like he did in the first quarter, there's no reason that the Knicks can't come back. Nice dunk for Philadelphia. It's now 75-70. Doncic with the screen. Tough three is good. Luka magic continues. Doncic can't miss. 78-70. Here's Tatum inside. No good. The Knicks have really shot the ball horribly inside, really throughout the entire game. The Sixers' interior defense is giving them too much trouble. And then on the other end, Jaylen Brown bullying Anthony Edwards. 84-72 now. Good ball movement by the Sixers as it's tipped and stolen away by the Knicks. Lillard inside for Jason Tatum, who dunks it home, bringing the lead back down to 10. 84-74. Here's Devin Vassell with a wide-open man. It's Spencer Dinwiddie, who throws it down. Piss-poor defense by the Knicks as Royster's pass is tipped and stolen away by Jeremy Sohan. On the other end, Sohan guarded by Tatum. Sohan crossover inside. Nice pass for Dinwiddie again. Look at that score. The 76ers are turning this game into a blowout. It's now 90-74, and the lead is just going to keep on growing. Jeremy Sohan with the dunk. It's now 92-74. Lillard with the screen from Tatum. Lillard back inside for Tatum, who dunks it. Big play for the Knicks. They needed that one really badly. They're still down by a wide 16 points. Lillard in the corner. Shaggy Lewis hits the three. The Sixer lead continues to grow. They're now by 19. 95-76. Here's Lewis with it. Late in the third quarter, he will make the shot as it's a goaltending on Cam Reddish. The shot probably would have gone in anyway. 97-76. Final seconds here in the third. Lillard with it over to Jason Tatum for three. No good. And that'll end what was a disaster of the third quarter. The Sixers outscoring the Knicks by 16 in that quarter. They shot the ball really well, 73% from the field. The Knicks, meanwhile, 1 for 9 from three. That's not going to cut it. They shot their twos decently well, but the threes were not falling. Into the fourth. Quick three from Dumbu is no good. Tatum with the offensive rebound. He gets the putback in the and one. If the Knicks want to make a miraculous comeback, it's got to start now. They're down by a wide 18 points. They can't let the Sixers score like they did in the previous quarter, and leaving Jeremy Sohan wide open at the top of the key is not going to help your case. 100-81 now. Here's Ramses with it. Ramses with the screen from Jared Allen. DJ Ramses, three ball, knocks it down. Nice shot for DJ. The Knicks are playing better here in the fourth, at least on offense. The defense still struggling early as Jeremy Sohan hits another three for the 76ers. 103-86 now. The Sixers lead by 17. Screen from Sohan. Luka just creates a little bit of space, and that's all he needs to knock down another three. The most impressive part about Luka's night, it's not so much that he's scoring the ball at will, but he's doing it super efficiently, not missing many shots at all. Here's DiCarlo for three, knocks it down. The Knicks are really shooting the ball a whole lot better than they did in the third, and it might not matter if you're not going to guard Luka whatsoever. Nice dunk by Ramses. It's a 17-point game once again with about 7 minutes to go. Doncic, guarded by DiCarlo, gets the screen, drives inside, blows by DiCarlo, and gets the easy dunk. Not going to find a more simple possession to score for the Sixers. Luka again with another screen from Sohan makes the floater. The Luka and Sohan two-man game has been really impressive. Sohan sets a screen at the top of the key, and then Luka cooks. Deep three for Jaylen Brown is no good, but Woody Balksheimer is there with the offensive rebound and the putback, and it is really not looking good for the Knicks. They trail by 19 points. DiCarlo inside for Tatum, drives by Sohan with the slam. New York is just clinging on to anything right now, but they are not in a good position here. Doncic looks to make a play as his shot is no good, grabs his own rebound, and Luka gets the putback. The Sixers are ahead by 19 with about 4 minutes to go. Woody Balksheimer with it. He's trapped. He's going to get it out to Sohan. Wide open for three is good, and I think at this point there's no possible way the Knicks can come back. They'll fall 129-112 here at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. I think the Sixers might be New York's biggest threat in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, you had the Washington Wizards, who are the 2 seed, and just added Kevin Durant, but right now this team scares me more. These guys are really, really good. 31 for Tatum. He did play very well. Edwards with 20. He was good in the second half. Ramses had a solid game, but nobody else really played all that well for us, particularly in that third quarter. Luka with 46, 15 and 5 on 20 of 28 shooting and 5 of 6 from 3. No bueno. Woody Balksheimer, 21 and 13 on 9 of 10 shooting. The efficiency from those two was ridiculous. Brown, Sohan, and Shaggy Lewis also played well. The Sixers shot 60% from the field, 42% from 3. They were super efficient throughout the entire game. So Minnesota's next game on the schedule is against Minnesota. In the last episode, I teased the idea about maybe using the Timberwolves in that game, seeing what it would be like to play against the Knicks. A lot of people actually liked that idea, but I don't think I'm going to do that because obviously our main focus is still the Knicks, and we're only 1.5 games ahead for the #1 seed, so every game is still really important. So I'm still going to try and win for the Knicks. If we were ahead of the 1 seed by like 10 games, then I'd be fine with using Minnesota, but I would feel weird about going against the Knicks where they are at this stage of the season. But that's still going to be a really exciting game nonetheless. I think we're going to have our next prospect profile as well in the next episode, so make sure to stay tuned for that. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Peace out.